There's something that happens when a person steps outside that's difficult to explain, but easy to feel. The air feels different. The mind begins to slow. The constant pressure to think, respond, and keep up starts to fade. It doesn't take much. A short walk, sitting on a bench, standing quietly and looking around. Yet even in those simple moments, something begins to shift. Nature has a way of creating space. In daily life, the mind is often full. There are responsibilities, conversations, decisions, and distractions. Notifications demand attention. Thoughts move quickly from one thing to the next. Even during rest, it can feel like the mind is still working. This creates a kind of mental noise, not always loud but constant. Being outdoors interrupts that pattern. There is no urgency in a tree, no pressure in the sound of wind. The pace of nature is steady, unaffected by schedules or expectations. When a person steps into that environment, even briefly, they begin to match that pace. Breathing slows, thoughts become less crowded. The need to rush begins to soften. It is not that problems disappear, it's that they're no longer surrounded by noise. This allows something important to happen: clarity. When the mind is constantly busy, it reacts. It moves from one thought to the next without fully processing any of them. But in stillness, thoughts have room to settle. What once felt overwhelming can begin to feel manageable. Nature doesn't provide answers in words. It creates the conditions where answers can be found. There is also a sense of perspective that comes with being outside. Looking at open space, water, or sky reminds a person that life is larger than whatever is currently occupying their mind. It doesn't minimize challenges, but it places them in context. What felt all-consuming can begin to feel temporary. This shift is subtle, but meaningful. Another benefit of being outdoors is the way it reconnects a person with the present moment. Indoors, it's easy to drift into past or the future. Regret, worry, planning, and overthinking can take over. But outside, attention is drawn to what is happening now. The feeling of the ground under your feet, the movement of air, the sound of leaves or distant activity. These small details anchor attention. They pull the mind out of constant thinking and into direct experience. This is where a different kind of calm begins to develop, not forced, not controlled, but natural. Nature also provides a break from constant stimulation. Screens, conversations, and responsibilities require ongoing attention. Even moments of relaxation are often filled with input. Being outdoors removes much of that. There is less to process, less to respond to. That absence is not empty. It's restorative. It gives the mind a chance to reset. This reset becomes important because without it, stress can build quietly. Mental fatigue increases. Reactions become quicker. Patience becomes thinner and focus becomes harder to maintain. Spending time outside, even in small amounts, helps restore balance. It doesn't require a major change. It doesn't need to be complicated. The benefit comes from consistency, not intensity. A short walk without distractions, a few minutes of stillness, time spent without a screen or a goal. These moments may seem simple, but they carry weight. In a world that often feels fast and demanding, nature offers something different. It offers steadiness, space, and it offers quiet. And in that quiet, something begins to return. Clarity, calm, a sense of being grounded again. The mind doesn't need to be pushed into stillness. Sometimes it only needs to be placed in the right environment. And more often than not, that environment is just outside. Motivation is often treated as the engine of progress. When it's present, things feel easier. Effort flows, your direction feels clear. But motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes, influenced by mood, energy, circumstance, and season. When it disappears, many people assume something is wrong, when in reality, this is when something deeper is asked of you. In life, there are long stretches where motivation fades without warning. Nothing dramatic happened. You're just tired, or uncertain, or worn down by repetition. The spark that once drove you forward feels distant. This moment is common, yet rarely spoken about honestly. What matters most in these seasons is not how inspired you feel, but how you continue when inspiration is absent. Carrying on without motivation requires a different kind of strength. It's quieter, steadier, less visible. It's built on commitment rather than emotion. Motivation is emotional energy. Discipline is structural energy. One fluctuates, the other endures. When people rely solely on motivation, progress becomes inconsistent. When they rely on structure, effort continues even when desire fades. This isn't about forcing yourself relentlessly. It's about honoring the commitments you made when clarity was present. Carrying on doesn't mean pushing at full capacity. It means adjusting expectations without abandoning direction. It may look like smaller steps, slower progress, or simplified effort. Momentum maintained gently is still momentum. Many people quit in this phase not because the goal is wrong, but because they misinterpret the absence of motivation as a sign to stop. In truth, it's often a sign to shift how you engage. Motivation returns more often to those who stay in motion than those who wait for it. There's also emotional honesty required here. You see, lack of motivation can be a signal of exhaustion, misalignment, or emotional overload. And ignoring these signals leads to burnout. Listening to them allows recalibration. Carrying on doesn't mean ignoring yourself. It means responding wisely. When motivation fades, this phase tests your identity. You're no longer fueled by excitement or validation. You're fueled by values. Why you started matters more than how you feel. The work becomes quieter, less dramatic, but more defining. Progress made during unmotivated seasons builds confidence that inspiration alone never could. It proves to you that you can continue without perfect conditions, that you are not dependent on feeling ready. This is where self-trust is earned. Eventually, motivation returns, often unexpectedly. Not because you waited for it, but because effort created movement. Action clears stagnation. Consistency restores energy. Motivation is often the result, not the requirement. Carrying on when motivation is gone doesn't look impressive. It looks ordinary. It looks like showing up when no one's watching. It looks like choosing steadiness over intensity. Over time, these quiet choices accumulate into something strong. Motivation may start the journey, but it rarely finishes it. What carries you forward is the ability to continue with clarity, restraint, and patience, even when the spark is dim. And when motivation does return, it finds you already moving. Most days the real challenge isn't what's in front of you. It isn't the competition, the circumstances, or the timing. It's the quiet negotiation you have with yourself before the day even begins. You wake up with two options. One version of you wants comfort. The other wants progress. That conversation doesn't make noise, but it decides everything. People spend a lot of time preparing for battles that don't matter. They study opponents. They wait for conditions to improve. They rehearse arguments for why now isn't the time. Meanwhile, the most important contest is already underway, and it doesn't involve anyone else. It's you versus you. This battle shows up in ordinary moments, when the alarm goes off, when the plan feels inconvenient, when motivation doesn't arrive on schedule. Discipline isn't loud in those moments. It's subtle. It asks one simple question: will you do what you said you would do? The hardest part is that no one is watching. There's no scoreboard, no immediate consequence. You can delay, rationalize, and quietly move on. And because the cost of not showing up doesn't hit right away, it's easy to pretend it doesn't matter. But it does. Every time you choose comfort over commitment, you reinforce an identity, not because you failed once, but because you practiced avoidance. And every time you show up, even imperfectly, you practice something else: self-respect. This isn't about being hard on yourself, it's about being honest. The version of you that wants more doesn't need inspiration, it needs reliability. Discipline is not intensity, it's follow-through. It's the ability to act without negotiating your standards down. Circumstances will always offer excuses: fatigue, distraction, doubt. These are not obstacles, they're constants. Waiting for them to disappear means waiting forever. Progress happens when you learn to move with them present. The quiet truth is that consistency doesn't feel heroic. It feels repetitive, boring even. But repetition is where identity is built. You don't become someone by deciding once. You become someone by choosing the same direction again and again. There will be days you don't perform at your best. That's expected. The mistake is letting one off day turn into a story about who you are. Discipline isn't broken by imperfection, it's broken by abandonment. You don't need to win every day. You just need to show up more often than you disappear. Over time, something subtle changes. The internal resistance softens. The negotiations get shorter. Not because things become easier, but because trust is being rebuilt. You begin to believe yourself again. Not because you feel confident, but because you've become dependable. And that's when the battle shifts. You stop seeing the day as something to survive and start seeing it as something to honor. You recognize that the person you're becoming is shaped less by big moments and more by quiet decisions no one else sees. In the end, the victory isn't over circumstances or competitors. It's over the version of you that once walked away. And the realization is simple. If you can show up for yourself consistently and without drama, everything else becomes manageable. Because the real work was never out there. There comes a point when the familiar begins to feel a little too tight, like a shirt we've outgrown without noticing. Nothing's wrong in any dramatic way, yet something inside whispers that the old way of being no longer fits. This quiet nudge towards growth shows up in different forms: a relentlessness, a subtle discomfort, a sense that the routines we once found comforting have turned into invisible fences. And while it's easy to ignore those whispers, they have a purpose. They're a reminder of an ancient truth: we are not meant to stay the same. Human beings are designed to evolve. Nature tells the same story over and over. The caterpillar becoming a butterfly, the tides rising and falling, the seasons shifting in their steady rhythm. Nothing in the natural world stays frozen, and yet we often expect ourselves to. We hold on to habits, identities, and patterns simply because they feel comfortable. But comfort, as soothing as it is, can quietly become a cage. Growth doesn't always announce itself with drama or fireworks. More often it begins as a subtle pulse inside us, a sense that we are being called to expand beyond our current edges. Maybe the conversations we used to enjoy don't feel as meaningful. Maybe our goals no longer excite us the same way. Maybe we wake up one morning feeling like we've been living on autopilot, going through the motions instead of truly engaging with our lives. None of this is failure. It's simply evolution knocking. The challenge is that evolution requires honesty. It asks us to look at what we've outgrown, not with judgment, but with gratitude. A chapter once served us, but it may not serve who we're becoming. And acknowledging that can bring a strange mixture of relief and fear. Relief because we know change is needed. Fear because stepping into the unknown always requires courage. But fear doesn't mean we're on the wrong path. In many cases, it means we're exactly where growth begins. There's a gentle reassurance in remembering that evolution is not a race. It doesn't demand that we transform overnight or reinvent every part of our lives at once. Growth is rarely loud. More often it's slow, patient, and consistent. Just as winter prepares the ground for spring, the seasons in our own lives prepare us for what's next. Even stillness has purpose. Uncertainty has wisdom. Being not quite there yet doesn't mean we're lost. It means we're in the process. And there will be times when we resist change, not because we don't want to grow, but because we're afraid of leaving behind the identity we've known for so long. That resistance is natural. Every tree must shed its leaves before new growth can form. We are no different. Letting go is not about abandoning who we were, but about making space for who we're becoming. When we allow ourselves to evolve, we reconnect with a deeper sense of meaning. We begin to feel more aligned, more awake, more alive. We rediscover curiosity. We remember what it feels like to be hopeful about the future instead of anxious about standing still. Evolution gives us permission to breathe again, to dream again, to step into the next chapter with more awareness and intention. And so, if life feels like it's urging you forward, even softly or subtly, trust that feeling. Growth doesn't come to punish you, it comes to guide you. It comes to remind you that you are capable of more than the version of yourself you used to settle for. In the end, evolving is simply returning to your true nature. It's remembering that you were never meant to stay unchanged. And when you lean into that truth, even gently, you may find that the next version of you has been waiting patiently on the other side of your hesitation, ready to take your hand and lead you forward. Trauma touches every single one of us. It doesn't always wear the same face, but it leaves its fingerprints. Maybe it came from a childhood where love felt conditional. Maybe it was the betrayal in a relationship you thought would last forever. Maybe it was the sudden loss of someone you loved, or the quiet, constant weight of never feeling like you're enough. Trauma has many doors it walks through, like abuse, neglect, heartbreak, failure, addiction, and once inside, it settles deep. But many of us don't want to face it. We try to hide our scars or suppress our emotions. But when we don't heal, we don't just hurt ourselves, we hurt others. We bleed on the people who never cut us. We pass on patterns we swore we'd break. The anger we bury finds its way into our tone with our loved ones. And the pain we suppress shows up as distance with our partner. The shame we carry keeps us from fully stepping into our friendships, our careers, our lives. Not healing doesn't make the trauma go away. It just buries it like a landmine, waiting. And every time stress, disappointment, or conflict enters our lives, that landmine explodes. It may look like anger, it may look like withdrawal, it may look like perfectionism, control, or self-sabotage. But underneath it all, it's that wound still open, still bleeding. How many times have you seen someone lash out in a way that didn't make sense? Or the opposite, they shut down completely when the world asked for their presence. That's trauma talking. That's unhealed pain running the show. And if we're not careful, if we don't take responsibility for our healing, we'll pass it on to our children, our partners, our friends, our co-workers. Pain becomes generational, not because it's chosen, but because it's unacknowledged. So what's the alternative? It's healing. Now, healing doesn't mean erasing what happened to you. It doesn't mean pretending it didn't matter or that it didn't hurt. Healing means learning to face it, process it, and choosing not to let it rule your life anymore. It's therapy, it's journaling, it's sitting with the hard feelings instead of numbing them away. It's leaning on trusted people who can support you, not trying to outrun it with busyness or distractions. Healing is work, but it's required work, because when you choose to heal, you stop the cycle. You stop bleeding on people who never cut you. You stop carrying a story that wasn't yours to begin with, and you open space for love, trust, and growth. Healing starts with you. No one else can do it for you. A relationship won't fix you. A friend's presence won't erase the wound. People can support you, yes, but they cannot carry your healing. That's yours. That's your path. That's your responsibility. So if you're listening to this right now and you know you've been carrying something heavy, something unspoken, maybe unresolved, I want you to hear me. It's okay. Trauma is part of the human experience, but you owe it to yourself and to the people you love to do the work. Because when you heal, you don't just free yourself, you free everyone from you and the hurt you've been carrying. You never really know what someone is going through. The person next to you at work, the one who's always smiling and cracking jokes, he might be battling depression so deep it takes everything in him just to show up. Or the woman at the grocery store who seems short-tempered or distracted. She might be caring for a sick parent and hasn't slept properly in days. Or that teenager who's acting out or isolating. They could be struggling with identity, anxiety, or relentless bullying. See, behind the surface of every human being is a story you can't see, a wound you don't know, a weight they carry alone. These are the silent battles people are fighting. And the truth is, we all have them. Some are fighting battles of the mind. It could be negative self-talk, constant comparison, imposter syndrome, shame. Others are fighting battles of the heart. Grief from a loss, heartbreak from betrayal, loneliness in a crowded room. Then there are the physical battles. Chronic pain, illness, fatigue, invisible health struggles that the world overlooks. And let's not forget the financial burdens. It's a fear of a job loss, the stress of providing for a family when the numbers just don't add up. So often we walk past people assuming everything is fine because they don't look like they're struggling. But you don't need to wear a cast or cry in public to be in pain. Some of the strongest people you know are silently breaking. And some of the most put together people are holding themselves together with nothing but sheer will. So what's the point of this message? It's a reminder to be kind, to be aware, to lead with compassion instead of judgment. It's a reminder that your words matter, because sometimes one kind of comment can be the reason someone doesn't give up today. It's a reminder that we should never assume we know someone's story just because we've seen their smile. And it's also a call to you. If you're fighting your own silent battles, you are not alone. Even when it feels like no one sees your pain, even when the world keeps moving like nothing's wrong, even when you're wearing a brave face but your soul feels exhausted, know this: you are not weak for struggling, you are not broken for hurting, you are human, and your healing takes time, grace, and support. And maybe you're not in a place to share your battle right now. That's okay. But please, don't fight it alone. Reach out, talk to someone, get help if you need it. There is strength in vulnerability. You don't have to carry the full weight of your world by yourself. You're allowed to rest. You're allowed not to be okay. You're allowed to be a work in progress. And if you are someone who's climbed out of a hard season, let this be the reminder to look back, to help someone who's still in the dark. Sometimes your survival story is someone else's instruction manual. We can't always fix what others are going through, but we can create a world where people feel seen, where compassion leads, where patience outweighs pressure, where understanding replaces judgment. So next time someone cuts you off in traffic, the next time your coworker seems off, or the next time your friend cancels plans without explanation, pause. Remember this speech. Remember, everyone is fighting something silently. So be a little bit more patient, a little more gracious, and a little more real. Because when we acknowledge the unseen battles around us, we become a better version of ourselves. And maybe, just maybe, we help someone fight a little longer.